Hey there, lads and lasses. This here is Thunderhand64 coming at you live from the west coast of the United States here on a Wednesday morning. It is not noon. It is not afternoon. It is a little bit past 11 o'clock. I'm starting a little bit earlier today with Generations. We're going to do some Baby Zombie Rush design stuff. We've got some hard stuff to work on today. But starting a little earlier today because Buffoon Skies has an event at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time today. And again, although I won't be streaming that, my Buffoon friends will. And you can see me participating in that event through their streams. So you could check out their streams here on the Buffooncraft stream team page. Let me call that up. Buffooncraft team. Like that, you can click that link, and then you can watch any number of the buffoons who are participating in that, and you'll be able to see me participating. I'll be recording that, though, so I'll have my footage recorded for that, and who knows, maybe I'll produce some videos for Buffoon Skies at some later date. But we're wrapping up a build challenge event that will happen today, and we've all created fantastic builds. When you see these builds, you will be blown away. The buffoons have put in quite a bit of work on their buffoon build challenges, and we'll be showcasing those today at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So that being said, I usually run my stream between noon and 2 for Generations, but I went a little earlier so I could have an hour in between to rest. Because Buffoon Skies is hard. It's hard on me. So, but that being said, our Buffooncraft event, the entire series event, concludes Sunday the 14th for us in the U.S. and some other countries. That's Mother's Day for us. So, but I'm going to try to participate in that. I should be able to work something out. Although we have plans for Mrs. Thunderhand that day, we might be able to still participate in that. All building on the Buffoon Skies server will cease on the 12th. So we're coming into the home stretch. On Buffoon Skies, I still have to build a containment room for my pet, who has not been dropped off yet, Sheldon. And so I'll be frantically scrambling to complete that. And then we have to finish our base. So you have to build some island structure features underneath the base to make it look a little less janky and make it look a little natural. And because the other Buffoon's bases are incredible. Ours is really cool as well, but the bottom part of it just needs to be finished, so I have 2 days to do that. And so probably tonight I'll be working on that as well. So but anyways, so that's going on. That's what's going on with Buffooncraft, and that's why we're starting early today. Let's switch over to the display scene. Here we are. And when last we left our work on Baby Zombie Rush, we were working on the design of this. I'm going to call this the center room because currently it is at the center of the maze, although in certain iterations of the maze and future iterations of the maze, it may not be located directly in the center each time. I may move it around a little bit just so prospective participants that won't be expecting exactly where it is. You want to change things up each time to keep them on their toes, right? So let me see here. Let's get out of there. So you can see, again, right now, this is one of the last features that we're working on, actually. We're almost ready to launch this, or at least to start building it in the survival world. And you can see it's at the center of the maze. Okay, so here's the start point. We go through the maze, and our participant comes to this point here, and they enter into the room here, and upon doing so, this timer will start counting down. So if they defeat the baby zombies who are pursuing them, notice that the sunlight, this is sunlight accessible. Baby zombies should all burn up, right? If you can juke them and dodge them long enough, effectively enough, they'll all burn up, and then you have until this timer runs out. I'm hoping that after running from the baby zombies and stuff, the player will come to this point, start looking around, and then see this start ticking down and start to realize, oh, something's going to happen when... so upon entering, this whole strip will light up altogether, and then these lamps will start shutting off one by one. so many seconds per each. And then the player will start to realize, oh, I've got a limited amount of time here before something happens, right? And they won't know what. And we have some things installed here for them to do. And we have a plan, but the plan might be different each time. You know, right now the current plan is when the timer runs out, baby zombies will drop from the sky into different various parts of the maze, right? And so you can see these little water pools. They'll splash down into these little water pools, so they'll be safe. They won't take fall damage. We could do that. And then when the timer runs out, the player will be allowed to exit, but then baby zombies will be distributed throughout the maze. And I don't know how many I'm going to distribute. It's going to be a lot, though. But the other thing is the baby zombies will be distributed throughout the maze instead of released all in one group that will be pursuing directly behind. So as the player moves on out into the maze, trying to find their way out of the maze again, they resume their search to try to find their way out. They'll run into pockets of baby zombies. Baby zombies will be pursuing them because, remember, the baby zombies can see, right? If they're less than 40 blocks away, they can see through the walls here, like this. Right? So the baby zombies can see you. So the moment that they splash down, if you're within 40 blocks of them, they'll see you and then start their pursuit. All right. We have some features here. These features might be in the first run of Baby Zombie Rush. They might not. These are beneficial, right? We click on this, we get a regen potion. We click on this, we get a health potion. We click on this, we get a speed potion, or we may get a few, right? Depending on how generous we feel. So let's give this a run. One of the things I want to work out that I think I did for the last time, but I just didn't document it, was the time, the total amount of time for the countdown. So I want to establish that right now. And then we'll put up a sign to remind ourselves as a note how much time we want to work with. And then we'll start on the countdown clock, the redstone for that. So let's put this in place. Let's get ourselves 10 baby zombies. Okay, there we are. And that's a little loud, so let's turn that down a little bit. I usually have my game sounds right about there. Right. Done. Back to game. All right, now I have to be careful not to trigger any of the pressure plates prematurely. Let's get this up by my face a little bit here. All right, don't step on the plates yet. Now, thunder. All right, I hear a little bit of echoiness, and that means I need to dampen that. We should be good. Okay, and now we need to switch our game mode. And that's not how we do that. I want to do that. Okay, so now we are in survival. And you can see those bloodthirsty little so-and-sos. Look at, ouch! They're already ready to wreak havoc. So, here we go. Run, Thunder, run! Oh, here they come. They are not pleased. They're quite cross. All right, so I've marked out the path in blood for test purposes. But, of course, when our participant is running the maze, there won't be any markings at all. But this is just for test purposes. But I don't run this nearly enough. And so sometimes I make mistakes here. That was close. This way. This way. Sometimes some of these junctions, some of these turns are like, I forget where they are. That one was close. So you can see these guys are right on me. So, we have to run. And as long as you keep moving, the baby zombies... Oh, what's happening? It's not working. Oh, that's right. I forgot to reset it. Okay, I'll let myself die here. All right, you satisfied? You got me. All right. Yeah, I have to reset this from our last run. Hello? Creative mode. There we go. All right. Let's head on up. Where am I here? All right. What we need to do is we need to go under. And here's our circuit that runs the DOA. Where is that? It's over here. All right, so this goes and pushes our block into place like this and cuts off the circuit. So so you can only use that center feature once, and that's how I want that to work. Okay, so now it should be reset and ready to go. So what's going to happen is when we come across this barrier here, we step on the pressure plates, this drops and allows us in, but then it rises back up and you can't get back out. And when you get released, when the timer goes off, if you come around here again, this won't function. That's the idea, right? And also, this won't function. So you can't get back into the center area a second time. That's the idea. So. There we go. Let's hop down here. Very carefully activate the pressure plate. Avoid it right now, though. We have to change game mode first. Now we're in survival. Someone's had too much sugar. Okay. Here we go. Ready? Run, Thunder, run! Oh, God, here they come. Oh, some of them got left behind. The gate didn't open long enough for that. I might have to change that. But I have enough of them on me. Ooh, I'm going to fail at this. Oh, run, Thunder, run! Over here, over here, over here. Now, see, you can juke them. It is possible. But look, I'm down to 3 hearts already. And the moment my hunger bars get low enough, I'm going to slow down. But one thing I did find through my testing here is that as long as you keep moving, the baby zombies won't actually close on you and overtake you. The only time that they overtake you is if you stop. So as long as you keep moving... Oh, I got my precious XP back. You should be fine. All right, so here we go. Now this should be burning. Now, I just started my timer now on my iPad here. And so I'm giving them enough time to burn. Now, I don't have the full horde, but again, you might not have the full horde at this point. So right now we're at about 19 seconds. Those guys are pretty much all done. And now I think the player is going to start to look around. They're going to say, you know, can I get back out? No. Can I get out here? Right? This should not work at that point. So they can't just head out. So I'm going to have to alter that a little bit. That's one of the things we're going to... But then they're going to start to look around. What are they... And I'm hoping at this point they're going to notice this clock ticking down. Right? And then they'll be like, oh my goodness, what's this? Oh, regen potion. But of course, there won't be a sign that says that. It'll just be a button and a picture. And should I press this or not? And that should always induce some doubt. Whenever you come across a button in Baby Zombie Rush, it should be, is this going to benefit me? Is this going to harm me? Or is it just going to be some neutral thing? So let me adjust my camera here. There we go. So, the player will need some time to experiment with each one of these and make a decision. Should I try this one? Should I try that one? And there won't be any signs. This will just be ticking down. Right now, I'm at about 1 minute and maybe 40 seconds right now. So I'm thinking about maybe 2 minutes might be enough. So we need this clock to count down for 2 minutes, and then when 2 minutes is up and all of these are no longer lit, it needs to send a signal to do two things: drop baby zombies from the sky, number one. Maybe trigger some sort of sound too. Maybe these will be attached to a note block, right? And there'll be a note for each. Once each lamp goes off, its note will sound like ding, 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 all the way down, right? And so the other thing was how to divide that 2 minutes, and so maybe 12, maybe divided by 12. Right, so 2 minutes, that's going to be 120 seconds. So 10 seconds for each one of these. And that way we have 12 notes, right? We'll have from the high C down to the... Oh, I don't think we have sharps and flats in note blocks. I don't think we have sharps and flats. If we have sharps and flats, then or half steps, right? Then we'll do 12. But if it's whole tones, we'll do 8. So... which means, what, 15 seconds, I believe? All right. So that's our challenge with this. And then, of course, after the 15 seconds is, for each one of these, after the 2 minutes is up, the baby zombies will start to rain from the sky. So you want a little bit of a delay there, right? And maybe we'll have some other things, like maybe some fireworks would go off, because it would force... or it wouldn't force, but it would direct the player's attention upward to see the baby zombies coming down. That would be cool, right? And then this will drop, right, and allow the player out. That will stay in place. So there shouldn't be any pressure plates here, right? So install lock prevents exit timer, prevents exit until timer runs out. Yeah, okay. So that means we have to alter that too. All right, so we have quite a bit of work to do here, all right? We're going to have to start designing the circuit, and I've never built anything like this before. Also, I searched online, and I saw some similar kinds of things, but, you know, I did quite an extensive search, and I couldn't find anything that was exactly like this. I think Mumbo built something like this, a very, very long-term one that ran for like days or maybe even weeks. That might have been Hermitcraft Season 7 or maybe Hermitcraft Season 8. I think it was Season 7, where he had this structure or something in the gaming, in the market, in the shopping district that was doing a countdown for a long period of time. Now, we need ours to be a very short period of time, but yeah, I'm not getting my commands correct here. There we go. 60% keyboard. There we go, creative mode. So I think I'm going to just experiment with it. And again, you know, the cool thing is to learn how to do this and try to figure out how to make a timer. I've been thinking about it for a couple of days, and I think I have some ideas on at least how to get started with it. So... all right, so I can hear something going on outside the office here, so I'm going to do a quick be right back. Okay, and we are back. Welcome back, everyone. Okay. Let us... There we go. Okay, have that right there. Sound is all adjusted. Good. All right, so we're down here in the test world, and I wanted to make a special test pad for this so I can design the circuit down here, and then I'll install it up there. I think since we have a lot of experimentation to do on this, we should do it off-site a little bit over here, give ourselves some room. All right, so a couple of things we need to remember. All right, so there's 20 game ticks per second. And depending on server lag and things like that, we can pretty much use that as a calculation. Also, the other goal we want to do is we want to try 2 minutes. So we want to see if we can make a 2-minute clock. 2 minutes might be too much, by the way. We might have to cut that down significantly. There we go. Right. So, yeah, we might have to drop that down significantly. So let's first, let's take a note block. Let's set down a note block. Let me see. We have halftones, so we have our sharps and flats. So we can divide. So we can have twelfths there. So we can divide 2 minutes by 12. That'll be 10 seconds each. So let us take now lamps. And let's have 12 of these. Okay, so let me see. This is within a chunk. Excuse me. Excuse me. We got some dry air here, so. Because we do live on the edge of the desert. All right, so 16. So what I want to do is, again, maybe bring it in by about maybe that much. But also, I want to bring this up. Probably about that high, because we might have a whole bunch of circuitry running, maybe even more. Oh, come on, hands. Stop it. All right. Okay, that should do it. Yeah, that's in. Okay, good. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, right there. Okay, so that's 12. All right, and so what we need to do is trigger this, all of them light up, and then start counting down, shutting off one by one every 10 seconds. So this one has to stay on for 10 seconds. This one has to stay on for 20 seconds. That one has to stay on for 30 seconds, and so forth until we get down to here 120 seconds. Right? So there's many ways to do this. The way I'm going to do it is not going to be the most efficient way at first. So calm down. It's going to be fine. All right. If you want, you could, as a viewer, back seating is allowed. You can certainly make suggestions. I don't always promise that I'll follow them, but if you know of a better way to do this, I'm all ears, even though I have headphones on. I'm all ears. So But in the meantime, I'm just going to proceed. One of the ways I was thinking right away is a brute force, a pretty crude way to do it would be to have a separate clock for each one of these, right? That's going to be an enormous circuit. But I will also point out that we have room for an enormous circuit. We can put the circuit under the game area and then just have, really, Hans? Come on, man. Under the game area and then just have the redstone come up through for the lights. Because we're certainly, I'll tell you what, even the smallest circuit that we build that's going to be able to accomplish this is not going to fit inside the wall. That's not going to happen, right? Call me Eve Gaming. Woo! How are you doing today, Eve? Thank you for dropping by. We're doing Baby Zombie Rush Redstone stuff. Redstone's going to get real in this one. Let me get back over to our build site over here, our test site, and then I'll give you your much-deserved shout-out. Good. Busy finishing stuff for tonight. Yes, indeed. So I've already told the viewers all about the Buffoon Skies event that happens at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, which is a little bit later for you over in your time zone, a young lady. How are you? I am doing awesome. I'm tired, but I'm doing awesome. I also was working on my build challenge build quite feverishly, finishing things up with the finishing touches and whatnot. So. There we go. So please check out fellow Buffoon and friend of the stream, Call Me Eve Gaming. Very, very cool streamer. Lots of fun. Lots of fun. Please go check out Eve when you get a chance. So, Eve, thanks for the shout out. Anytime. And always well deserved. Do you think that you'll be streaming that this evening? That's kind of late for you to be doing a stream. So, although I believe you've done so in the past. Again, I'll not be streaming it. I'll be recording it, but viewers can see me in the other Buffoon streams. So, yeah, that is very late for you. Yeah, I'm not a bit surprised. I know the more easterly Buffoons will be streaming that, though. Definitely. Okay, so there's a couple of ways that we can do this. Again, I can have a separate clock for each one of these, like an Ether Hopper clock, which, you know, sometimes the Ether Hopper clock, because of the way hoppers operate, they're not super accurate. But we don't have to be super accurate. As long as it's about 2 minutes, that's fine. It doesn't have to be exact. It's not like we need some sort of redstone machine to work, and like TNT duping and piston operation is critical, or else the machine will explode or something like that. So this is just a countdown timer, and it's just a rough one. It doesn't have to be absolutely accurate. I signed my contract this morning, so hopefully I will be less overwhelmed so I can stream regularly again. And so I assume that is the contract for your new job. Congratulations, congratulations, congratulations. So that's what I'm thinking with this, a separate clock for each one of these. So this is actually going to wind up being a pretty complicated thing. First of all, when the player steps across the pressure plates over there and enters into the central area, this whole strip has to light up. So its default is off, and then the strip has to light up, and then it has to, these lamps have to then switch off one by one after 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, up to 120 seconds for this one, and then they have to remain off. So, yes, thank you. You're almost welcome. So that's what we have. That is the challenge, the Redstone challenge ahead of us right now. So I think the best thing to do is to first work on maybe just a 10-second clock for this one. One of the things I was thinking of doing was maybe doing something with dispensers, right? I don't think I would want to do anything with some sort of comparator clock because the 120 second clock, the comparators would be monstrous and they would break. They wouldn't work. So comparator clocks, no. I think what we want, is an Etho Hopper clock. And depending on the inputs to the Etho Hopper clock, we can dial in the amount of time that we need. So I think we should just work on maybe like a 10-second clock first and see what we can do with that. And I'm thinking, can I just have one Etho Hopper clock and then have dispensers dispensing different amounts of items into it gradually, right? Like, let me see. If I do inputs and outputs, so the Etho Hopper clock runs on an equation of 4n minus 2, where n's any natural number. So, in other words, if you put one item in, right, you get it'll run for 4 times 1 minus 2, which would be 2 ticks comes out, and then it shuts off, right? And so 20 ticks per second. Right, so that first one for 10 seconds, we would want it to run 200 ticks, which means 200 items in there. Wow. So things like this, we're going to have to test and see if we can get this kind of a thing to run. All right, so first things first, let's build ourselves an Etho Hopper clock over here. Get some items in place. Let's get some of that, a little bit of this, a little bit of this. We need a sticky piston, redstone block, that, and a regular piston, and a repeater. I think that's enough to get us going. Let me see. These two face into each other, right? Comparators, the double pegs. Okay, the outputs face away. Yeah, we should be good. Two, three, four, like this. Let's build it a little bit high up off the ground like that. Those are just starter blocks like this. And then, let me see. We need a space for the comparator goes below, and then the two hoppers facing in, right? So we can do this kind of a thing. And, okay, so the comparator can sit on that. And then hoppers can go here. We'll face one in like this. And then the other in like that. Comparator is going to have to sit on that, so it's going to have to be down here, actually. Right? Redstone will be on that block, so it can go in and power it. Right? Has to be level with that. This has to be a space above, that's why. So we need that so we can get the comparator in there, right? Output has to be that way, right? So it has to be reading the hopper. That's the idea there, right? Then we come in over to here like that. We have basically the same thing on this side. Output is, nope. Output is there. Okay. And then depending on which side we want the input to be, that decides everything else. So sticky piston goes on that side, on the input side, right? And then the regular piston goes on the output side. So I thinking I want the output to be over here, so I'll put the input there. Like that. Regular piston here. Like this. Okay, we should be good. I don't want to put the redstone, well, I don't know if it matters. Yeah, redstone block should be okay. There we go. Now, right now, I'm just going to use a button for the input, but what'll happen is there'll be a circuit running into this and hooked up to the pressure plate. So when the human steps, the participant steps on the pressure plate, the signal will come over here and start the clock, right? So we won't need the button, but the button will be there for test purposes. And then the output comes over here like this. The torch is just to light up the block to let me know that it's working. So that's just for a testing thing. But the output comes off of this block in any of these three directions, right? So got a little bit of redstone dust there, a little redstone dust there. I do not need that. But here's our button right there. And then the output, again, comes off of this block either here, here, or here, like this, right? Depending on which direction we want it to go. And I believe, yeah, you can set repeaters on that to try to adjust some of the timing on it sometimes. Sometimes that is necessary. Most of the time it's not. But these repeaters, if you're going, not comparator, repeater, like that. This kind of thing. Now, we don't need three of these. It's just, I don't know where those are going to go yet. So. Too Tall! Hello, how are you doing? Thanks for dropping by. Hello, everyone. Hope you're doing well. Let me see. So Eve says, I just finished making a statue. No spoilers now. Then the creepers went boom. You know, if you look across the way, you've seen my build, and that did happen to me. There was one area that I forgot to light up, and so many creepers spawned. And they just kept coming down and exploding and coming down and exploding. And I kid you not, it felt like 8 creepers. It was probably more like 6 creepers, but it was like 8 creepers. And if you think about it, our builds, we're in a Skyblock map, viewers. So our builds, these builds are mine is a pretty small island. So when a creeper drops down, there's really no place to go to get away from it. I'm trying to hit it, do the hit and back up, but there's no room to back up, and my origin type doesn't fly. And so I'm trying to juke it, boom, it blows up, and then I'm recovering. I don't die, but then 2 more creepers drop down, and it's like that wiped out like over 50% of my build about halfway through the build, and Huck! That set me back so much. That's one of the reasons why I'm so tired. This last build challenge really burned me out. So it's not that Kreese didn't give us enough time or anything like that. It's just that I build too slow, and then there's the self-sabotage thing like that too. So here I just want to do this and remind myself that the formula for this is 4n minus 2. There we go. So output equals 4n minus 2, where n is the input. All right, so I think one of the first things I should do is I should measure the signal strength coming out of the back of this is probably the first thing I should do. I could just do this. Okay, so I have 15 spaces. So we can see what our signal strength is going to be. 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Right? And then we could start putting items in, right? Good old cobblestone. All right, so we can start by just putting one item in. And then you can see that it just ran for one tick, right? The whole thing, I believe we got a signal strength of 15 for one tick, which is what I would expect. So let's test that again using the button. So you have to put the item in first to start it, and then you can come over and trigger it. There it is. All right, so let's take a look at that again. All right, that was a little weird. All right, yeah, that double action I think is a little strange. It should not work like that. It should work like that. That's what should happen. So, what am I doing wrong? Let me see. 4n minus 1. One of the things we can do also is put more items in. Oh, wait. Again, you know, it's also has to do with the way that hoppers work too. That should be locking that hopper while that one's open. Okay. So we want to make a 10-second clock. So let's put in all right, so this should, if I put 20 of these in here, this should give me 1 second. Now 21 thunder, 20. And that's a lot longer than 1 second. Let's see what happens now. All right, so let's make a measurement. Let's see what happens. I'm thinking 1 item in, 2 items out, That's 2 game ticks. So we need 10 of these. Should give us 1 second, right? Yeah, that felt like 2 seconds. Yeah, that felt like 2 seconds for some reason. And let's see if I can hit the timer here. Do both of these simultaneously. Nope. I missed it. I hit the wrong button. I right-clicked it and I destroyed the button. Not cool. All right. I need to left-click this. Thunder! Come on, hands. Can you just work with me here? We're both on the same team. This is so hard to do. That was 8 seconds. Now, again, you know, we've got game server tick and stuff like that. So 10 gave us 8. Wait, hold it. Did you just count it in English? Oh, what is this witchery? Doya. 我说英文吗? Doya. Who are you? What did you do to Thunder? Imposter! Ayoya! Okay, so that would be 40 minus 2 would be 38. So that's going to be what? 20 and 18, which would be... It should be less than 2 seconds, right? So this is one of the things I don't like about Etho Hopper Clock, is trying to predict... Oh, wait a minute. I remember because they have to load here and load back. So we're getting the effect of 20 because we get 10 and then 10. So if I do that, it should be better. Yeah, that felt a little bit more like 2 seconds. Okay, that was a little bit more. It was almost 4 seconds. Okay, that was more like 2 seconds. All right, I'm actually running my stopwatch down here on my iPad while I do this. Yeah, okay, so that's 2 seconds, right? And how many do we have in here? Well, that would be really nice if 2 blocks were 2 seconds. That would be really cool. 2 blocks is 2 seconds. How about 3 blocks? Just about 3 seconds. And it looks like it's putting out a full 15 signal strength, but that's probably because of that repeater. Did you just see how I yelled at you a PG style and I threw in some Among Us? I'm hip. Ooh, with the imposter. Was I acting sus, counting in English? Was I a sussy among us, as Kachi would say? All right, yeah, so full signal strength coming out of there, but that's probably because of this repeater. If I took the repeater away, it'd be interesting to see how much signal strength we get out of this. I would have to drop that down onto this, though, but this would have to count as one of the blocks, too. But that's okay. That's all right. So it looks like about 1 second per item. And let me check something, too, and see if different items give different signal strengths. I got to remember some of this stuff now. Let me see. Now, this is for a dispenser. It's not for a hopper. Load in items and observe the corresponding signal strength, right? Refer to the chart near the bottom of the page. So see wiki page for comparisons. Look as to how sorters work. Yes, it is. All right. And I think it's the same for hoppers too. But if I do that, if I put 1 item in, I get a signal strength of 2. And I believe it works similarly for hoppers. Let me try a hopper like this, and let me throw some temporary blocks down like that. Yeah, so if I put 1 item in a hopper, I get a signal strength of 2. Right, and especially if that item happens to be cobblestone. Really? Come on. Hands, please. Please. Just, like, work with me here. All right? All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Ooh. So 23 before it gets up to the next block, right? And so So 0 through, not 0, but 1 through 22 will give you 2. 23 gives you 3. And we got to keep an eye on this. See, we already passed 4. So you can look at this way too. You can do you can do that, and then 23 gives you this, right? And you're up to the next level. I think it was what? Another 23, right? Yes. So each 23 Yeah, okay. So it gives you that signal strength. But signal strength doesn't affect our timing. So, and this is one of the things I'm trying to decide whether or not I want to use an Etho Hopper clock or not. So if I'm going for 120 seconds, 2 minutes, should I put 120 items in here? That's going to be 128. So that'll be 120. Good one, Eve. Very sus. And done, finally. Thunder shot! Our fellow buffoon and moderator and good friend, Mr. Shot Mountain. There we go. 409 FB, the man himself. Shot, how are you doing today? Will you be able to join us for the Buffoon Skies event later on in the afternoon? I hope so. I know I'm going silent here for a moment, but I'm trying to, no. What I'm trying to do here is, one very good thing that happens is when this Hopper clock activates, the whole strip lights up. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is 15, 14, 13, 12. So all 12 of them light up. So that's a good thing. That is a very good thing indeed. And now we would want them to shut off every 10 seconds. All right, so if that activates right away. That also activates right away. One way I could get around that is to load it first and then put the redstone block in. There we go. There we go. And then it'll activate the moment I set the redstone block in. So that was what, 64 and then what, 56? Like this gives us the 120. Or I could put the comparator in. No, stop doing that. Stop it. Stop. Stop. Too much. Clock, stop, please. Thank you. I could lock the hoppers too. And then when I'm ready, knock out the... Yeah, I could do that. Let me see. Torch. So we could do that just for the moment, just to lock the hoppers. So at least I can load the thing. Like that. Okay, now it's loaded. This one doesn't have to be locked. It should be okay. Comparator over here. No, wrong direction. No, I want it reading the hopper and outputting the other side. Please, hands if you would. Thank you. All right, and then similarly here. Okay, but the hopper's locked. That's good. All right, so the moment I knock this out, this should start. Good. All right, so I have the timer on. We'll see if that shuts down in 120 minutes. Okay, let me see. What up, my dude? I'm on break right now, but still got an hour left for work. Yeah, because I'm streaming earlier than I normally am on Wednesdays. I should be there. Yes, awesome. Oh, yeah. Eve and Too Tall are here as well. So, frankly, I'm delighted to see any of you at all in here because I'm starting at 11 Pacific Standard Time, and I didn't think I would see anybody at all in here. All right, so right now we're that was probably about 50 seconds when that piston retracted. So just about a minute. So that's one side processing. Now they're all loading back into the other side. So it's probably going to be about 100 seconds. It's probably going to be just short of 2 minutes. If it's 100 seconds instead of 20 seconds, that's probably not 120 minutes. Yeah. I mean 120 seconds. Brain is saying seconds, mouth is saying minutes, because of course I can't look like I know what I'm talking about. Okay, let me see. That's that was about 1 minute and 35 seconds. So that's not enough time. That's like a minute and a half-ish. And again, you know, it's hard to dial in these Hopper clocks to precise timings, but because of the nature in which hoppers work. But I'd like to get a little closer than that. Yeah, one of the things I like to do when I'm designing stuff is I just like to have like all of the items that I'm working with right here so I can do a quick select. Keep the inventory full, you know. There we go. So when I'm building stuff, you know, you know what I mean. That way I can just do quick select. That. some repeaters. And that just makes the building go a little bit quicker, you know. And some things I can stack on top of other things like that. So I can just do quick select. Okay, so we should be good there. All right, so we need to add in more items. But how many more items? So I'm going to... This gives me about a minute and a half. So how about a full 2 stacks? And again, you know, this is going to change with server lag and stuff like that. So it is a good shot. Here, have a cookie. All right, so far we're at about a little past 30 seconds or 40 seconds, right about there. And again, you know, you can see this thing counting its items. Okay, now it's flipped back over to the other side, and now we're loading in the items from the other side. And we're at 1 minute right about now. So again, you know, just getting this part to work is like the first step. So okay, it's just shut off at about a minute 40 seconds. Wow. Oh, wow. This didn't finish before it shut down. That's very weird. That's kind of weird. It didn't finish before it shut down. It didn't load all of the items back. So there must be a max amount of items then. So I'm going to lock that just so I can load it. Oh, I put it in the wrong side, I think. All right, that's what I want to see right there. I think I need to load them in this side is how I get it started. Doesn't make sense, though. It should be on the other side. it should start over here like this. There we go. Okay. All right, so when this shuts off, I want to see how many are remaining in each hopper. That's what I want to see. And how am I doing for time right now? Actually, I should be in standing mode right now because we're past the first hour. Okay. All right, we're almost at a minute right now. Okay, so that was at about 50 seconds. And I'm wondering if this is going to shut down when that reaches 64. No. Okay. So not at one stack. Okay, no, that processed the entire 2 stacks just like it was supposed to, which is a good thing. So that's exactly what I wanted to see. Now, let's see if the button now changes this at all. Okay. All right, so it's going to load all of these into this hopper, and then all of them back, and then the circuit should shut off. And again, the reason why we're doing this is we're building a countdown timer, right? So, and I want the timer to run for 120 seconds, 2 minutes. And as it's running for that 2 minutes, I want these lamps to switch off every 10 seconds or close, all the way down until they're all off, and then send a signal out. Okay, that's again at about 50 minutes, a little bit more, like 50 minutes, 50 seconds, a little bit more than that. Now, this I find a little bit concerning because we're already over a minute and the first stack isn't completely loaded yet. Okay, there's the first stack at 1 minute and 17 seconds. So I think we're going to have a different outcome this time. No. 1 minute, 42 seconds. Okay, and all of the stacks were processed. So that's a good sign. All right, it's consistent with the button and the torch. 1 minute, 42 seconds. I would like to get it closer, though, to 2 minutes. So again, you know, I can just try. Now, were I doing this not on a stream, what I would do is go over to the whiteboard behind me, and I would make a table, a T-chart, with inputs and outputs, and I would measure the time, the amount of seconds for the outputs. So, and then I would look for the pattern, make the equation, and then bing, bang, boom. But you guys will absolutely lose your minds if I do something even remotely close to that. So, ooh, math, and then everybody will flee. So, all right, let's put a torch down here. Let's lock the hopper so I can load it. Like this. Because, for example, we're getting 128 here, right? And let me see, 256, 516, 514, 513. So we should be getting 513 ticks out of here. Right? Divided by 2 would give me 256 times 10 would be 500. Yes. All right. So, but it doesn't seem to be working like corresponding with that. All right. So let's do this. Let's do this, and then we'll measure the moment I click this out. Like that. All right, and let's track how these are processing. So once we're at 23, every 23 it'll put out one less signal strength, but that doesn't really matter because I have that repeater taking the signal strength and amplifying it to 15. So, or you know, across 12 lambs, but. All right, there we are at about 40 seconds. Plus, I got to switch to my computer spectacles because I'm an old man. Which is sometimes a little challenging when I'm wearing the headphones. There we go. Much better. Okay, so we're at a minute now. Okay, and now we're bringing all the blocks back. So that was like halftime. And that took about a minute to process those blocks. So that was what, 160 blocks, I think? So that might just be the magic number. Okay, so we're about at a minute and a half right now. And again, you know, as long as we get it close, it doesn't have to be exactly 2 minutes, right? As long as it's close. I want it to be about 2 minutes. And 2 minutes may be too long, too. Uh-oh, we're closing in. 4, 3, 2, 1. 2 minutes right there. So it looks like 15 blocks, right? 64, 64, 128, 138. So it looks like 143 blocks. So let's test that. But before we change the block numbers, let's lock it with the torch so we don't have to go through this nonsense every time. There we go. All right, so this might do it, actually. Let's try this out. Okay, this should run now. And again, getting the main clock to run for the 2 minutes is the first big step. So And again, there's very likely a better way to go about doing this. I'm completely open to suggestions. So, I'm just brute forcing it because I've never built anything like this before. I've built things that are similar to this, and I've seen things that are similar to this before. But like I said, nothing exactly. The closest thing I've seen to this was I've seen Mumbo build something like this. And again, I'm trying to remember. I think it was Hermitcraft Season 7. Where he had a countdown clock, but that countdown clock ran for weeks. So I think each redstone lamp was represented a day, and it was less and less one day, counting down through maybe 2 weeks worth of days, 14 days. So I think it was something like that. So we're at about a minute and a half, a little over right now. Getting close. Right about here. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Okay, so that was not quite enough, but that was actually very, very close. That was very close. Let's lock it with the torch. Why is that torch there? All right. Let's just add block by block at this point. We'll just fine tune it in. All right, so I just added one extra block because we're actually very, very close. Plus, it's a multiple of 16 too. 16, of course, is a multiple of 16. So that probably helps a little bit. Hold on. So it's counting down. Once more, it is counting down. Excuse me, dry throat again. Oh. There we go. Now I got my voice back. One of the drawbacks of coming from New England and having been acclimated to a life like right around the 50th parallel, you get down here into the desert and the air is just so dry. I've been out here for 20 years now and I still haven't acclimated. Okay, so we're at about the halfway point. That's at about right about 1 minute, so that's good. And again, it'll be a matter of just like fine tuning it now, just adding like a block and a block and a block until we get it as close to 2 minutes as is satisfying. So it doesn't have to be perfect, but it does have to be satisfying. Yes. Yeah, so right now we're at about a minute and a half. Okay, getting close now. 15 seconds. Here we go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Okay. That was 1 minute and 55 seconds. Let's lock that guy right in there. Okay, it's doing its thing now. I think I might have screwed up the beginning by a couple of blocks there, but we'll have to check it. Yeah, I should run it again just to make sure. So, let's bring it back. So we had 64, 64, and 17, right? $64, $17, like that. There we go. Okay, just to be sure, just to make sure I didn't screw anything up. And again, you know, this is the less glamorous side of Redstone. A lot of this is done off camera. So you see your Redstone YouTubers who build these incredible things and everything. And yeah, at one time they had to do this, right? They had to sit down, time things out to see how things work, count things out, measure things, see what works, what doesn't work. The key is when you do get something that works, you got to record it somehow. And that's why it's important to have, at the very least, they're lucky because they make YouTube videos about this, right? And so they can just look back at their own video and they can see, right? But at the very least, it's important to have some sort of test world like this, where when you build a machine and you get it to work and stuff like that, you have it here so you can go back and reference it. For me, that's particularly important because getting old, you know, the dementia doesn't allow me to hold on to things in my head, so I have to go back and reference things. Makes building really slow, but is, you know, at least I'm diligent enough to, when I get something that works, I record it and I keep it there so I can go back and access it. It takes longer to do it that way instead of having it just right there loaded in the RAM ready to go every time. Like my younger self would, but at least it is possible and I can still build stuff. So, all right. Now we're working on our 17 stacks. Ooh, okay, so that extra block only gave us like 1 extra second. So I think we're going to need significantly more blocks. So I'm adding 1 block at a time like that. That's not enough. I'm thinking this might be way too much. But let's try it. That might be way too much. So what I think this is going to do is I think it's going to read every 23 blocks. That's what I'm thinking it's going to read. And it's going to activate the piston. So it might do something like that. So we might have to do that in groups of 22 and 23 because we're using hoppers. So that, if you remember, I went over to the hopper tester to see the signal output strength. I did that. So it may do this like every 22, 23 blocks. So that might be the number with which we need to work. So how do I do it for time here? 12:34. Okay. 26 minutes left of the stream. I will very likely, in fact, I've already decided I'm not going to raid out today unless one of the buffoons is already streaming. But because I don't want to be doing that while I want to rest in between this and the Buffoon Skies event. And also I want to prep too. So I need to chill, get something to eat, and do that. Just kick back for a little bit, and then log on and prep and stuff like that. So okay, I'm thinking this is going to be way too much. Yeah, we are getting different outputs each time. Okay, we're at 2 minutes right there. So that would make you think that, and this is what I thought earlier. Okay, that's 2 minutes, 8 seconds. To me, I'm satisfied with that. That's like, I don't think it's worthwhile to trim off that 8 seconds. I think that's close enough. But this is something interesting. Okay, so we have a, let me see, 64, 64, 32. It's going to give me, so we said that gives us 160 blocks. If I take that and I divide that by 22, that's going to give me, well, not an integer, that's for sure. That's 7 and some change. And then 7 times 20 would give me 140. So that's a little bit more than 2. So I don't think that the 22s are doing it. But you know what's interesting? Let's load that up. Let's see what happens. I'm just curious. Okay, so 22 gave us, I would say, about 17 seconds. All right, let me try this. I was just resetting it with that last round. What does 23 give us? Oh. So 23 gave us just about 20 seconds, almost right on the nose. I got to lock this out before I do this. I know this is just absolutely thrilling. But we learn a little bit about redstone when we do this, so. So while we're waiting for this to do its thing, what do you guys think of this time slot, this 12 to 2? I was trying to do 12 to 2 at least for Generation so I can get some more of our European friends in on the stream. Okay, so when I went to double 23, and brought it up to 46, that brought us nearly to 40 seconds. I think 23 is the magic number, people. I really do. It is better than math on the whiteboard. if you say so, too tall. Math on the whiteboard for me has its own charm, but that's me. Okay, so I'm thinking now, what happens if we add another 23? Will we get 60? Right, so or very close. You know, a lot of it too might be my timing between hitting the stop clock to start it and stop it. And also, you know, there might be some server lag and stuff like that that is affecting it a little bit too. But I'm thinking we add these in 23s. And it's going to be 60, 69 blocks. Okay, that went a little bit off. So that was like 50 seconds. So I was hoping for a nice correlation there. And I didn't get it. So let me see. So if I do 4... let me see. Too tall. You're not going to like this. But I won't show it directly. Okay? I promise it's not going to be that bad. But we could just keep stabbing in the dark, or we can record some data, look at a pattern, right, and see what we get, right? But I do know though that 128 and then 148, 149. We know that 160 blocks gets us almost right at the 2 minutes, right? Gets us at 2 minutes and 8 seconds, I think. So let's. So that gets us close, right? And I like having my glowy cyan. There we go. So 160 gets us about 2 minutes, right? I'm just seeing if we can come up with a predictor now, because we only have about 13 minutes left of the stream. So now I'm just playing. I'm playing in the worst way possible. So I'm just curious to see what happens if I go in 22s like this and I record and I see if I can get a pattern, right? So okay, so I'm going to say that was about 17 seconds. Okay, there we go. I'm trying 22 this time around because it's like 22 is the first level, and then the 23rd one begins the next level. So it's not every 23, it should be every 22. It's about 35. So see, that's a good sign right there. That's pretty linear. So it's like as n doubles the amount I put in there, the input doubles, the output doubles. That's easy. That's nice and linear. But the next one though. Okay, so the next one should be 88. Right? I should double 44. So 88 gets me 66? Maybe. Let's try that. Hawk. Forgot to set it. One thing I want to check on this first. Yeah, if I double each one of those, that'll give me a slope of 2. All right, yeah, that should work. So we'll try 88 next, right? Now, I should just advance it by another 22. So it should just give me, the next output should be 66. But I'm thinking it might be exponential. So I'm going to try exponential first, because that would be more fun. Linear would be easier, though. $70 seconds. So it's not exponential, that's for sure. Let's see what happens if we just add another 22. So does it increase by 17 on each output as we put in stacks of 22s? So will we get 50 out when we use 66? Would be nice. Be nice and linear. All right, so this is easy. We just go 1, 2 like that. Now, even though it air is very dry today. I wonder if you get extra time when you have multiple stacks because it has to check the empty slots. Probably. Yeah, that may be throwing off like a tick or two, right? $52. Very close to 50. You know, it'll be interesting, Too Tall, and it's good that you mentioned that, because what happens when all 5 slots are full, right? But of course, we won't figure that out on this stream because we only have 4 minutes left. But notice if you add 17 to 52, you get 62 plus 7, 69, which is right around 70. Nice and linear, right? Nice and linear. It's hard to read with these glasses on. It's a good number, though. Okay, so it looks like the equation is linear. So that gives us y equals mx plus b. Looks like the slope is 17. And then that gives me y equals 17x plus b. So if we want the offset, if I plug in 22 for x with 17 as the slope, and then the output is also 17, and then I simplify, I get y equals 17x minus 375. That's what I get based on that. Now, that's going to be a rough estimate, but again, we don't need it to be exactly 2 minutes. If it's close, like if it's 1 minute 58 seconds or 2 minutes 8 seconds or something, that's fine. So that's what I got for my linear equation for this. So we can try now. We can put in 120 for the y and then see what we would need to put in for the x to get 120 out for the y. That should only take a sec here. And I am out of time. Let me see. So I'm going to run a couple of checks on that and see. I think my B, my offset, is a little bit off. Plus, I want to run the table and put some more values in there and stuff. But we already have an input that works. And that's the important part. And that's probably the biggest step in getting the first part of this to work. So again, just to review, if you came in late, what I was working on was when the player is being chased by the baby zombies, they run into here, they step on the pad, they enter into this area, and the moment this comes up so they can't leave, that locks. This starts counting down. I won 12 of those. All right. So, and I know they're not symmetrical. I'll do something about that later. But this starts counting down. And I wanted to count down. I thought 2 minutes. I did a run, and 2 minutes seemed like a good amount of time for a player to get in here, dodge the baby zombies burn up, and then the player starts to look around, starts to try the buttons, and then notices the clock that's counting down. The clock stops. The baby zombies drop from the sky. This opens up. That stays closed, so they have no choice but to run out here. When they run out through here, this rises back up and locks, so then the player can't get back up into here. And 2 minutes seems like a good amount of time. So to get all of these to line up in a strip and then remain that way for 2 minutes was step one. And so in that, we were successful. And, I could tweak the math to get that more exact. But even just through trial and error, we were able to get an input of 160 to get this to be output for about 2 minutes counting down, just using an Etho Harper clock. So, and like I said, Etho Harper clock isn't, the most precise way to do this, but it is probably one of the most compact ways of doing this. So I give up a little bit of precision, but not a lot. It's probably only going to wind up being a few seconds off here or there. And then when I get the math tweaked on this, it'll probably be, like I said, accurate within a few seconds, which is good enough. It doesn't have to be exactly 2 minutes. And when we test this out and we get this into place, 2 minutes may be too long. And so that's one of the reasons why I want to take a little bit of time, probably off camera, and work out some sort of relation here between inputs and outputs so I can adjust that. And again, adjust it so it's close. It doesn't have to be exact. Like maybe 2 minutes is way too long. Maybe we wanted a minute and a half. So what's our outputs going to be? Well, if I can have a relation that gets me close to that, an equation that gets me close to that, then that's easy, right? I can just put in my number of inputs or put in my number of outputs and then do the inverse and get the amount of inputs I need in there to get that time and to get it close enough, right? Satisfying. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it does have to be satisfying, right? And so that would be easier instead of going through this trial and error process every single time and counting out blocks and timing things and stuff, which is, that's a little too janky for me. So, okay, with that, we should wrap up the stream because I need to take a little bit of a rest and then log on to Buffoon Skies, and then we can start our Buffoon Skies event. Again, if you're seeing this late and you came in before I announced that, Buffoon Skies has an event today that starts at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I don't know for how long it's going to run. I know it's going to be at least an hour, so it'll probably be right around there. Many of the Buffoons will be streaming it. I won't be streaming it, but they will. And you can see me participating in that in their streams. So there's the link to the Twitch page for the Buffooncraft stream team, and then you can see which ones of us buffoons will be streaming this. At least one of us will be streaming it, probably several of us, I hope. But you can see me doing that with them in their streams. It should be a lot of fun. The last couple of events, whenever we get together on there, Eve's going to be there, Shut's going to be there, I'm going to be there. So already it's going to be pretty funny. If we can get Villager and a few others in there, it's Chris, a few others, it's going to be a lot of fun. So I'll be at least recording that. And after the event completes on the 14th, I may try to edit some of that video and put together videos. If I have good enough footage, I'll do that. So we'll see. But that will end today's stream. Just remember that we do this generation stream usually every Wednesday, usually from noon to 2 is the standard time, the scheduled time for that. Next Wednesday will be a building on the survival, generation survival server, survival map. And we're pretty much finished up the aquarium tanks on either side of the hotel. I'm thinking of moving on now to terraform the beach and the back side of the hotel, do some of the terraforming there and making that look really, really cool. So that'll be next Wednesday's stream. The next stream, though, will be Friday from 3 to 5. This Friday, 3 to 5, that'll be a Buffoon-Craft SMP. We're still committed to finishing our build on the SMP. And I'm under quite a bit of pressure to wrap that up now because the 1.20 update will be dropping very, very soon now. And that's when our Buffoon-Craft SMP season will end. And whatever's built is built and whatever isn't. And I would really like to finish the lightning effect around the hand, but I'm doing a lot of math for that. It's probably the hardest thing I've ever built in Minecraft. So we'll see how that goes. But again, that'll be Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And then the stream following that will be Kachi time, 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Probably going to be Roblox if I know Kachi, but we'll see. So please tune in. Thank you, everybody, for showing up today. I really appreciate it. Just remember the VOD for this will be up for 14 days on our Twitch channel, and after which it'll expire. But we upload all of our VODs to our YouTube channel, Thunderhand64_gaming2, and maybe I should do 2 like that for the Brits. Yeah, and it'll be up there for all time. You can go check out any of the VODs from our past streams. They're always up there. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon, your evening, your morning, wherever you happen to be, and join us again next time. Bye for now, everyone.